everybody, and welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Sinead DeFries, and this is The Daily Show, where we bring you the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us this morning is your Collider Movie Talk crew. First up, senior producer Jon Campea.
Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, coming to you from right here at the Collider Studios here in Burbank, California, and we are so glad you decided to make us part of your day.
Also here is writer-director Jon Schnepp.
So happy to be here. Totally overslept, sweating in my unconditioned, unair-conditioned house.
In 103-degree heat in the valley.
So I made everybody late because I was late. Sorry, guys.
None of us are mad that you're so late. Also here, it's Mark Ellis.
All I want to do is see actually Jon Schnepp wake up and then look at his clock and realize that he overslept. I want to see that frazzled Schnepp morning.
I will give you that frazzle. Tomorrow morning, I will post that picture. I might even Periscope it for cyanide over here, just so that she's all happy about it.
Okay, true story. I didn't get permission to tell the story, but I'm going to. A true story. We're sitting around in our pre-production meeting today, and Schnepp was late. And so we're starting the show late, and Sinead, who's down at the end of the table, she goes, "Damn it, where's Schnepp? I'm going shopping after the show today."
It is my shopping day, okay?
Yeah, you don't even get to say that. You're late all the time. I can't believe that she's
a day that I am on
time.
A day that I am on time, I'm allowed to say that. That's how it works.
Hashtag first world problems.
Yes,
all right, let's get
absolutely.
started.
Didn't know it was like that. Didn't know it was going to be like that.
Ever since the release of his film Interstellar, many film fans have been waiting to hear what Christopher Nolan would be doing next. Well, we still may not know what Nolan is doing next, but we do know when he'll be doing it. Warner Brothers has set July 21st, 2017 as the release date for Nolan's next movie. But at this time, absolutely no details are available. July 21st puts the new film just 1 week after the opening of War of the Planet of the Apes, opening the same day as Pitch Perfect 3 and just 1 week before the opening of the new Spider-Man film by Sony Pictures. Mark, what do you think of the announcement and the placement for Nolan's new film?
I think this story really got me excited about War of the Planet of the Apes. That's when I released it, and I'm like, all right, let's get that here. For the Nolan movie, yeah, it makes sense that it's coming out in summer, and it maybe gives us a little bit of insight. We're really going to have to read some tea leaves here, boys, because we literally know nothing about what his next project is, other than the fact that he's very excited about it, and he's been working on it for some time. Now, having said that, if it is coming out in the summer, as opposed to something like Interstellar, that tells me that it might have a broad audience appeal, as opposed to being a smaller movie that was albeit really good, like Memento or Prestige or something like that.
Right.
So I don't know if it'll be a known property. I don't think we're going back to Batman anytime soon, but something that people can relate to. But you look at something like Interstellar, which came out in, I think, October or November, that still was a movie that could have come out in the summer. It's about outer space. It's an adventure. It's Christopher Nolan, so that would have made sense in summer. Something along the lines that could be a big box office draw is what I'm anticipating from that news.
I'm super excited about this. And think about this. That week, that set of weeks in July of 2017, one weekend, you're going to go see War of the Planet of the Apes. The following weekend, you're going to go see the new Christopher Nolan film. The following weekend, you're going to go see the new Spider-Man film. That is going to be a good stretch of weeks, I think. Now, you know what? Honestly, my first thought when I read this story was that Pitch Perfect 3 is now reconsidering their release date. But the more I thought about it, it's like, you know what? The people who are going to be really flocking out to see the next Christopher Nolan film are not necessarily the same people that would be going to see Pitch Perfect 3 anyway. That actually might make it perfect counter-programming for a movie like that. We've seen from Pitch Perfect 2, people want to see the Pitch Perfect stories. They like the music or they like the characters or whatever the reason is. So I think it's going to be just safe. I love the sound of this. I like that it's opening in the summer because you're right. To me, that tells me Nolan is doing an event kind of film, a tentpole kind of film. I don't think he's doing a superhero film or anything like that, but I think whatever it's going to be grand in scale. That's when you plop it right in the middle of the summer between War of the Planet of the Apes and a new Spider-Man movie, and you must be damn confident in whatever it is Nolan's cooking up. If you're going to drop a movie right in that lion's den right there, I think this is just great for us as film fans. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, I'm super excited. You know what's really fun is that none of us know what it's going to be. All we know is just a Christopher Nolan film, so it's just exciting. And I hope that they don't tell us for a very long time.
What if we never knew what the movie was until you pay? We just know we're seeing
just a
Nolan
blind
movie.
ticket, no trailer, like just a black ticket. There you go. It's just Christopher Nolan, son.
What
It's
about
like,
that for like a movie promotion where it's Mystery Mondays, where you go to your movie theater for a really discounted price, $4.50.
Right.
You buy in a little sealed envelope a movie ticket, and it's in that theater.
Right.
You walk in and you don't know what movie it is till it pops up. Maybe it's the brand new Marvel film.
Maybe it's Pluto Nash.
Maybe it's Pluto
Delgo.
or a smaller independent film. You don't know, but
that'd
you're
be
rolling
fun.
the dice a little bit because one of the big crazes around the Collider office right now that Ray and Dennis are into are those the mystery bags, mystery minis, where you buy a box and you just don't know what toy's in it until you get home, open it up, and pull it out. That could be an interesting thing.
I
And
like
then you
that.
find it's the new Christopher
We'll
Nolan
call
one.
it Grab Bag Mondays, but let's do it Monday night so we make sure Schnepp doesn't oversleep. We want to make sure he gets to the theater on time.
Look, I'll just pass on that. I'll sleep through that. I don't like that because then that mystery minis thing, you always get I got the weird purple sucky one again. You get too many duplicate weirdo ones.
Well, you know what? I got a really cool vinyl Superman because Dennis, it was a duplicate for Dennis. He goes, "Hey, you want this?" Like, yeah, I want that. So that was pretty
But the
cool.
big question is, will anybody be getting a toy of Christopher Nolan's new movie? Is it going to be that kind of film? Look, there's a chance that he is a director of such prestige that he can pick and choose when he wants his movie to come out. So it might be a
said
smaller
prestige.
thing.
Oh, he's fitted in
See
there.
what I did there?
Damn.
I'm keeping the ship afloat, damn it. I was here at 9:30 this morning.
Well, look, Mark, your perception of what's going to be happening.
Wow.
I'm just
Speaking
really
of Inception,
excited.
how about you dream less and wake up more so you can get here on time?
I like my dream world.
All right.
I want my dream world to stay.
Let's move on. What's next?
Production has officially began on the 5th installment of the Bourne franchise. Actor Matt Damon is returning to the franchise after a one-film absence, and the first picture of him from the new movie has surfaced online. Little is known about the new film other than the fact that it will not feature a crossover between Damon's Bourne and Jeremy Renner's Aaron Cross from the previous Bourne film. John, what do you make of this new photo of Matt Damon, and are you excited for the new film?
It looks like somebody's gearing up to be in his buddy Ben Affleck's new movie as Nightwing. Maybe. He's looking pretty jacked. I don't know if it's just me. I look at that picture. I think if I did not know a new Bourne movie was coming out and they showed me that picture, I would be going, Matt Damon's going to be in the new Kickboxer movie. That's what it looks like. He's in Nepal or something, wrapping his hands. Hey, look, the dude looks awesome. He looks in phenomenal shape. I think all of us were really excited to hear that not only Matt was coming back to the Bourne franchise, which, for him finished
Right.
on such a strong note, but to also know that Greengrass was coming back as well. And I remember when that last one he was in, it was so good. It was so much fun, but he was insistent. This was the last one. This was the final Bourne that he was going to be in. And now he's back. And I think a lot of us are excited to see it. I think he looks great. I want to know what this scene is, because if he's just been like hiding out in Nepal or something like that, beating up people, having drinks with Indiana Jones's girlfriend, I'm down. That sounds really cool to me. Schnepp, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I buy this as well. We're in buy and sell, right? We're not.
No,
yet.
we're not.
Okay, I'm still asleep. I don't know what's happening. I'm very excited to see this film, and it's like never say never again. It's like Sean Connery said, "I'm done with James Bond." Another dude did. He's like, hang on a second. Came back and did it. This is just like that, pretty much. Matt Damon's back. We're all excited about it.
Yeah, one of the coolest things about being a spy or a trained killer or some government rogue agent is the survivalistic element that you have to live at large periods of time on your own in some strange place by yourself. That's what it looks like is happening here. Whether it's when he's living on the beach and he's shacking up with that girl that, you got to see the second Bourne movie and you'll find out what happened to her. But also, even the Jeremy Renner version, where at the beginning, he's living in the wild by himself. Right. I like seeing that. I like that these guys have a very particular set of skills that most humans completely lack. It looks like that's where he's been. So is that the beginning of the movie? Then he gets called back into action, or he has to go take care of something. I am already intrigued with this movie, and now this picture, I'm like, yeah, that's the dude that I know. That is Jason Bourne.
All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show now for buy or sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Sinead's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down, and those of us at the table are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell. So, Sinead, what do we got?
The first trailer for the upcoming Jake Gyllenhaal film, Demolition, has appeared online. In Demolition, Gyllenhaal plays Davis, a successful investment banker who struggles after losing his wife in a tragic car crash. Despite pressure from his father-in-law, Phil, played by Chris Cooper, to pull it together, he continues to unravel. What starts as a complaint letter to a vending machine company turns into a series of letters revealing startling personal admissions. His letters catch the attention of customer service rep Karen, played played by Naomi Watts, and amidst emotional and financial burdens of her own, the two form an unlikely connection. With the help of Karen and her son, Davis starts to rebuild, beginning with the demolition of the life he once knew. Schnepp, do you buy or sell this first trailer for Demolition?
I buy this. I felt really emotionally connected to this trailer and the looking at a relationship and taking it apart the way after a tragedy that you might have to go through, just as a coping mechanism, but also as a way to get your life back together. And it just looked really emotional, and I cannot wait to see this movie. I buy it.
A huge buy for me. I mean, I wanted to buy it before I even saw it when Jake Gyllenhaal with Chris Cooper. Yeah, Gyllenhaal, understandably, is going to be the name a lot of people focus on here, but with Chris Cooper. And then you throw in the always reliable Naomi Watts. That's great too. But it had that hook. Like talking about Bourne, the first Bourne movie. Some Russian freighter finds a guy floating in the middle of the ocean with no idea who he is. Hook. As he's reading off the letter that he's writing, the M&Ms didn't come out. I found this very upsetting, as 10 minutes earlier my wife had died. I'm like, whoa, wait, what?
Right.
It didn't come across as campy or cheesy.
No.
It had that emotional impact that you wanted. I sat back and was like, I got to see this. And I'm dying to see the relationship between the characters, how that works. Gyllenhaal is on such a roll, delivering such a great performance. I wasn't a big fan of Southpaw, but the performance he brought was still amazing. I'm really looking forward to this. Trailer got me hooked. I'm in. It's a buy.
Can we just get away from giving away what happens to Jake Gyllenhaal's spouses in movie trailers? I don't like this trend, but for whatever reason in Demolition, it's a buy for me because it didn't feel like it ruined the movie. It actually felt like now I'm more sucked into this film and I'm wrapped up in what this guy's going to have to go through. The relationship between him and Chris Cooper is going to be fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Because the way that they either drift apart or come back together, what he decides to do with his life from this tragedy going forward, the way that the trailer exposed you what this movie was about, where you don't know if is this a lighthearted comedy, why is this movie named Demolition, and then that gut punch of what happened, it really hooked me as a viewer, and then it started, you start thinking, you watch this and you're like, this could be Gyllenhaal yet again being a runner-up to somebody else, because we all know Leo's winning for The Revenant. We all know that's going to happen, right?
Let's see if he at least gets a nomination this year.
I think it's a kind of subject matter that would get somebody nominated, I think.
Yeah, this movie, especially because it's just showing you just to pay attention to life. That's like these movies that come out and they just give you something back, emotionally. That's why I'm really excited about it.
All right, what's next?
Actor Michael Fassbender is keeping busy these days, and according to a report in The Hollywood Reporter, he just got a little bit busier. Fassbender has apparently joined the upcoming project The Snowman with Let the Right One In and Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy director Thomas Alfredson. It is November in Oslo, and the first snow of the year has fallen. Bertie Becker comes home from work and praises the snowman her husband and son have made in the garden. But they haven't made a snowman. As the family stand by the sitting room window looking out in amazement at the snowman, the son notices that it is facing the house. The black eyes are staring at the window, staring at them.
Whoa.
Mark, do you buy or sell Michael Fassbender joining the Snowman?
Sure, man. It gives this project credibility. I buy it now. If you read this to me and you told me Michael Fassbender's not in it or Alfredson isn't directing it, I'm like, this sounds like an awesome, really bad horror movie you might want to see on Sci-Fi. But now... yeah, this what is it a spy movie? Is it a horror movie? Is it a killer snowman coming to life? Is it Jack Frost 2? What is this movie? I'm intrigued now.
Yeah, it's actually a big buy for me too. I think it's I think if I read it right, because I did a little background on the book, I think there's this killer who on the first snow of every year, he takes a married woman or something like that. So this idea, the setup sounds great. The one thing that concerns me about this is Michael Fassbender, because aren't you supposed to be getting ready to do something else? He's got Steve Jobs coming out too, which is getting some pretty good pop coming out of the Telluride Film Festival. But wait a minute. So where does this fall in your schedule as far as Assassin's Creed though? We have been waiting for Assassin's Creed. We haven't heard a definitive start date and shoot. They've just heard this fall. This fall we're shooting this fall. Okay. Where does this come into it? Are you going to try to cram this in before Assassin's Creed? Does this mean Assassin's Creed's been pushed more? Or is it something you're just going to start shooting? You just signed the deal now, but you're going to shoot it in 6 months. I would like to find that out, because that will quickly change my buy to a sell if it means we're getting more delays on Assassin's Creed. So for now, I'm just going to assume, since we're not hearing about any delays, I'm going to assume there are going to be no delays to Assassin's Creed. And on pure merits of the story, I'm going to buy it.
I'm gonna buy it, but I was gonna say this is one of those like weekender jobs for Fassbender. It's like, look, can we cram this out in like 2 weeks and just crank it out? It's all set in a house. It's a dude trying to kill him or whatever. It's like a freaky haunted snowman. Even though that's not gonna happen, that's what I'd rather it be. Snowman just starts walking towards the house. And be like, the only thing between us and it is Fassbender.
So like Pixels with Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah.
Okay,
I know that's not gonna happen, but now I really want that.
Do they play Frosty the Snowman in this movie in like a really creepy?
Just in a little clink, clink, clink. Yeah, just like the Krampus thing.
I hate to bring. I do not think the snowman is coming to life.
I want it to happen so badly, even though now we know it's not going to happen.
All right, what's next?
The first trailer for Krampus has just hit the web. The film is directed by Trick or Treat helmer Michael Dougherty and is described as follows. When his dysfunctional family clashes over the holidays, young Max is disillusioned and turns his back on Christmas. Little does he know this lack of festive spirit has unleashed the wrath of Krampus, a demonic force of ancient evil intent on punishing non-believers. All hell breaks loose as beloved holiday icons take on a monstrous life of their own, laying siege to the fractured family's home and forcing them to fight for each other if they hope to survive. Schnepp, do you buy or sell this first trailer for Krampus?
I buy the trailer. It was between buy and sell because it's like it borders. I'm going to buy it right now, but it borders on that like comedy horror that I'm not a big fan of. And to the beginning of the trailer, I'd say the first half, I was like, I don't like this film. I don't like the way it's going. I don't like the setup. And then once they reveal the creepy, weird dwarves or whatever, the little Krampus's little friends, his little helpers with the weird faces, and Krampus got those like hooves and he looks freaky. If there's enough of that in this movie and there's enough really cool tense scenes like that little kid hiding under the car with a clink, then I'm buying it. But if it's like corny, if it's too corny, I'm selling it. So right now I'm buying it.
I am tentatively going to sell it. I was excited about the premise of the film. Right. I'm like, a lot of TV shows have been having Krampus episodes. The Grimm had a big Krampus episode. Even The League had a Krampus episode and stuff like that. I've been looking forward to it. And the movie might be great. I'm not passing any judgment on the movie, but just on the trailer, if the trailer's job is to get me more invested and more excited for the movie, then I got to sell. This trailer didn't do it for me. It didn't get me more excited for the film. So I'm going to hold out hope that the next one will be better. Was excited to see that Adam Scott was in it. I totally forgot that Adam Scott. I'm actually a big fan of Adam Scott. So we'll see. But for now, I'm going to give it a sell.
I buy the trailer. I was excited about this. I got to see a little bit more of this at Comic-Con, and I got to see a little bit of a panel on it, so I had some background as to what it is, but the trailer itself, on its own merit, still made me want to buy it. The Adam Scott thing is interesting, because I love Adam Scott as a comedic actor, but then you have Schnepp's thoughts, where it's like, well, is this a horror movie, or is it a comedy? Sometimes that can work well. It's a very narrow line, and I don't want this to be Gremlins, where it's funnier than it is scary. Gremlins is great, but for something like Krampus, I want to get scared, and I think you're going to get that. I think this is much more in a Sam Raimi vein, like a Drag Me to Hell situation, where there's going to be laughs in there, but it's also because we're so scared that we have to laugh just so we can let something release from our body because we're just so terrified watching this.
I was going to add that it's Michael Dougherty who did Trick or Treat. Right. And that anthology film was really fun. It had some hits and misses in it, but I overall really liked it. So I was looking forward to seeing this. I knew he was doing this. He's writing, directing. He's also worked a lot with Bryan Singer, done a lot of the X-Men movies and stuff. So he's definitely got a lot of stuff under his belt. But like, once again, this feels very uneven. So jury's out. But for right now, I'm going to buy the trailer.
And he just did what The Culture does, where he skipped right over Thanksgiving. He went right from Halloween to making a seasonal Christmas movie. I want a Thanksgiving horror movie. Is that too much to ask?
All right, folks. Well, it is Wednesday, and yes, it's too much to ask. It is Wednesday, which means it's time for us to do a little bit of Rewind, brought to you by our friends at AMC Theaters. On Rewind, this segment, we talk about the films celebrating birthdays today, or at least this week. We look at the films turning 10 years old this week, and we look at the films turning 20 years old this week. So we start with the 10-year anniversaries. Turning 10 years old this week, we have The Man, with Samuel L. Jackson and Eugene Levy, and The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Turning 20 years old this week, we have National Lampoon's Senior Trip, The Tie That Binds, and To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, with I was going to say with Blade, with Wesley Snipes, and with Dirty Dancing, Patrick Stewart.
Swayze,
and John
but I'd love to see Stewart in this too.
Swayze. Patrick Stewart.
Swayze.
What is this wig for? Why are my bosoms smaller than Leguizamo?
Bring me my corset. Engage my boots.
I want to see this
Lieutenant
movie
Worf,
now.
summon my bustier.
Worf, you've ruined my wig again. Worf, take off that wig.
I want to see that
But
movie
Captain.
so bad. All right, let's start with you, Schnepp. Out of these films, with these anniversaries, which ones stand out to you?
All right, well, the one that really stands out to me is The Man. I love seeing films I had no idea that they existed at all. You're like, when did that ever come out? Was it like one day? Was it a grab bag Monday? They're like, check it out, dude, it's The Man. You never thought you'd see Eugene Levy and Samuel L. Jackson in the movie, and no one did. Because I don't even. Does anyone know about that film?
Nobody did. It wasn't funny. But here's the thing: it was Eugene Levy, who is a comedic master.
Oh, of course.
Eugene Levy.
SCTV. I love him.
SCTV.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a genius comedically. But at the time, he was kind of hot at the time because of all the American Pie stuff.
Right.
So they thought, let's give him his own vehicle. They paired him up with Samuel L. Jackson. And it reminded me of a poor man. I'm going to forget the name of the movie, but a poor man's version of that Martin Short and
Pure Luck, Danny Glover.
Inner Space.
Pure Luck. Thank you very much with Danny Glover. It reminded me a bit of a poor man's version of that. That movie had some laughs, a few laughs to it too. The Man, however, did not. I mean, it basically lasted as long as you think it was going to last in theaters. The ones that stands out to me is The Exorcism of Emily Rose. That was actually a pretty cool little horror film. And it was our first look at director Scott Derrickson, who went on to direct the first Sinister. Derrickson, thank you. Patrick Stewart. And more importantly for us right now is the fact that he is also the dude who's directing the Doctor Who movie. I know, Doctor Strange. Who's directing the
I wasn't even going to correct you.
He's going to be directing the new Doctor Strange movie, and that gave us a first look. And Jennifer Carpenter, if those of you who have not seen the movie, you might remember her as Dexter's sister in as the police captain in Dexter. She was great actually in this movie, so you should check that out if you have a chance. And I remember watching The Tie That Binds just because Moira Kelly was in it, and that's about it. So what do these films stand out to you?
Is Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. I remember when I was a kid, me and my brother and a few friends, we went to go see something. I can't remember what the movie was, but that trailer came on, and we're watching it like this could be a hilarious comedy. Like at the time, you have Swayze and Stewart and Wesley Snipes and John Leguizamo. Those are all like pretty big stars at the time, and it's like, oh, this could be really funny. Then the movie comes out, and I never actually saw the movie, and I don't think a lot of other people did too. I think it was a box office flop because it had a lot of stuff behind it, and people just didn't really, it just looked too weird at the time. And so you want to go back and say, well, now the way that the current politically correctness goes, is this movie ahead of its time? We were talking about this in the pre-production meeting. Is it ahead of its time, or is it a very dated movie that you probably shouldn't show today? According to you, it actually does hold up pretty well.
I honestly, there was one of those. Now, granted, I have not seen it in a while,
Right.
But I know a lot of people hate on the film for strictly cinematic reasons. I thought it was a charming kind of movie. But yeah, we were talking about it in pre-production. It is absolutely movie. I can't believe it's turning 20. It was way ahead of its time. And I think at the time, a lot of the audiences just didn't know how to take it. And if you watch it now, and granted, I haven't watched it in a few years, but if I'm remembering it right, I think it holds up pretty good. And it's kind of cool seeing, when were you going to see Patrick Swayze and Wesley Snipes in a film together like this?
Right.
The answer is pretty much never, except for this. And I thought it kind of held up.
Yeah, it seemed to me like it was selling itself on the shock value, and I think maybe a lot of other people saw that and were like, I'm not gonna spend 2 hours watching just, oh, isn't it funny these guys are dressing up? Like I want a little more meat on the bone, but maybe it is good. I haven't seen it. Sorry.
All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show now for Mailbag. Look, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, take your chances and email us at collidervideo@gmail.com. Send on in your question. Maybe you'll see it pop up on the show. Maybe you'll see it on one of our weekend Mailbag shows. So, Sinead, what's in the Mailbag today?
David writes, hey guys, love the show. The trailer for Batman v Superman is amazing and I can't wait to see it, but it's not scheduled for release until March. However, it seems like the film is mostly done, with the exception of maybe a little bit of editing, so why wait 6 months? It seems like a November, December, excluding the 18th, obviously, or a January release would suit it just well and not have much of any impact on box office results. So why wait?
Remember, they don't schedule studios, and it's a totally fair question. Because we've been asking, why are you putting off Batman versus Superman for a long time? We've been asking that question. But the reality is they don't schedule release dates based on when they think the movie's going to be done. There's a lot of strategy that goes into when will this movie perform at its absolute best. Because believe it, whether you release a certain movie today or release that same movie 2 weeks from now, there could be a $6, $7, $8 million box office difference, all based on when you put that out. And if you don't think that $6, $7, or $8 million means the world to studios, you're wrong. It absolutely does. The brain trust at Warner Brothers felt like the optimum, the best release window for this movie is when they have it coming out. They knew Batman vs. Superman was going to be finished well before then, but they just felt this is the best time for this movie to come out when we believe we can make the biggest impact and make the most money on it. And that's the bottom line for these guys. So yeah, I would love it if they just surprised us all and like said, guys, October 18th, we moved up Batman. I would love it, but they seem to know what they're doing. Well, that's up for debate, but they seem to at least have a plan, and they're going to stick to that plan, and we'll just have to wait. Schnepp?
Yeah, they drop like, remember that weird rumor, Enter the Night? It's like a two-part of people like freak out, start crying. It comes out tomorrow. No, what? Yeah, I mean, originally they were going head-to-head with Captain America, so it was like May 6th. So that was their ideal date, but you know what? Honestly, I think they're gonna make another like $300-400 million just because they moved it to March. They're going to just make it's just going to be an insane amount of money that this movie's going to make. I mean, we're all betting on it being really good. I mean, we're hoping it's amazing.
Yes, we are.
But I mean, the excitement level of like seeing these two characters come together over all the years, you add up all the years you've been waiting to see this. It's an event film. So for them to come out in March when there's not that much there, really Deadpool comes out in February. So you have Deadpool, then you got this movie. So it's like everybody else should kind of like clear and get out of the way for about 2 months. Then Cap comes in to like scrape up the leftovers and get another $1 billion. It's going to be crazy. I think making that move to like, instead of moving it further down the summer line, then move it up, it was perfect. May 6th would have been the ideal spot, but I think they're going to actually come out the winners on this.
Yeah, I remember we were discussing this at the time too, because when the two movies were going to be going head-to-head, at the time, Captain America 3 and Batman vs. Superman, they were going head-to-head. Like, look, Batman vs. Superman was going to make more money. We knew that. But they needed it more than Captain America did. It was, like, absolutely essential that Batman vs. Superman move because Marvel wasn't going to move. And Batman vs. Superman, I believe, while it would have made more money, would have suffered more because they need this one more. And you're right. It was a great idea. Instead of pushing it further back into the summertime, move it a couple more months ahead. It got everybody more excited. It was a really good move at the time. And man, I can't wait to see this film. Anyway,
I say released it this weekend. Where are you at, War Games? Bring it on, perfect guy. Shyamalan would hate it. He's like, I finally made a decent movie. And then they got Batman v Superman dropping now. It'd be the coolest thing ever if they did that. I agree with you boys, though. It is a strategy. It's not just about making opening weekend numbers. It's about making an impact and having word of mouth and having people talk about how cool it was to see Batman go up against Superman, leading into all the other movies that the DC Universe is trying to establish. Don't forget, Suicide Squad is a big player in this too, because you don't want too much of a gap between when this movie comes out and when you get to see Suicide Squad. You want to get to know this universe again and then see all the other cool things that are happening in there. It does have a big step up on Captain America because it's coming out first, and it's going to have less competition in March or right now. It literally would have nothing.
I know.
Here's the thing. How much you want to bet this, though? If Batman versus Superman goes over well, okay, so let's make that assumption. That goes over really well and people love it. And people love Ben Affleck as Batman as much as these Warner execs say that everybody's going to love.
They gave him a standing ovation, John.
Well, yeah, I should keep that in mind. If that's the case, how much do you want to bet that even though we all, I think, pretty much agree, Batman's presence in Suicide Squad is a small one. I think Affleck was only on set for a couple of days.
Right.
So it's a small one. But how much do you want to bet that if Ben Affleck goes over as Batman as well as we think he might, that at least 30 full seconds out of the next 2 minute Suicide Squad trailer will be Batman? At least. And I'm talking post Batman vs. Superman. This is after Batman vs. Superman comes out. I will guarantee you they will feature every second that Batman is in Suicide Squad will be in that trailer.
We're gonna literally have to break this down by the second because there's no way it's gonna be 30 seconds of Batman in a Suicide Squad trailer. But will you see him featured? I think you might.
Mark my words.
They might add
30
They
seconds.
might add a pickup scene. You know, this one scene that we just quickly wrote. Can you be in this? It's a 2-minute scene. Yeah.
All right, last question of the day.
Cyrus writes, "Hey Collider, thanks for all your shows and hard work. In the UK, one of our biggest cinema companies has a deal which we pay a set price of $16.90 a month, and for that price we can see any films in 2D and 3D for free that month. Unless it's a D-Box, IMAX, or IMAX 3D film, then we have to pay a small add-on for it. Plus, we get 25% off food and drink at the cinema, and we also get a number of discounts at certain restaurants. For me, as a big film fan, this is amazing, as I can see pretty much any film and I can see them more than once. My question is, do you think this type of offer from certain cinema chains in the US would work? And do you guys have anything like this in the US?
Okay, so this is really interesting. Now, the theater chain in particular, I believe the one you're talking about is Cineworld. And when you hear us say $16.99, that's actually in pounds. If you want to be able to see a film in London, that's actually 19 something. So it works out to be about $30 American. In principle, I think the notion of a Netflix-like membership approach to movie going can work. And as a matter of fact, there is a company out there right now that is doing something like this, and it's called Movie Pass. Now, here's what it is in theory, all right? For $29.99, in some places in the country, it's $35 a month, but almost everywhere else, it's $29.99 per month. You, in theory, get unlimited movies. You just go to the movie theater, you use the app on your phone, punch in, which movie you want to see at which movie theater, and then you just go to the theater and pick up your things. Now, in theory, I think something like this can work. However, I personally can't recommend Movie Pass myself. It may work for you, but here's why it's not something that would work for me. For $30 a month, and I gotta tell you, I went to Movie Pass's website, very deceiving website. They do their best to hide the little asterisks as well as they can. They'll promote, because there's nowhere on the site can you just say, click here for a full description of what the service is. They hide that. All they do is like, hey, unlimited movies, guys. Here's the catch, though. Catch number one, you can only see one movie every 24 hours. So if you go to see a 7 p.m. movie on Monday, you cannot see a 6:30 p.m. movie the next day. It'll have to be at least 7 o'clock around. That's not that big of a deal, because no one's going to the theaters every single day of the week. So that's not, but it is only one a day. Catch number two, you cannot see the same movie twice. So if you do go see The Visit and you really enjoyed it and you want to go back with your friends to watch it again, your pass does not work for that, because you've already used your pass to see The Visit, so you cannot use it for a second time. Catch number three, they say $29.99 a month. What they don't tell you is that it's also like a cell phone plan. It's a 1-year commitment. So you're actually signing up for a 1-year subscription, and you pay $30 a month, and there are early termination fees. So if you sign up for it and realize after a month or two, I'm not really using this too much, too bad. You signed up for the year. I think you can terminate, but I couldn't find anywhere on this place's website how much termination fees would be and all that kind of stuff. Catch number four, you cannot use it to reserve a seat for a guest with you. So if me and Schnepp want to go do a double header of The Perfect Guy and The Visit.
Oh, thanks for inviting me, guys.
Sorry, you were asleep, Ellis. We kept trying to wake you up. Just wouldn't answer the phone, dude.
I'm sorry, were you still here? If we wanted to go see a double header, he's just going to have to go and buy his own ticket separately, which is fine. It would just be kind of cool if the service offered you a way to buy a ticket on the thing for a companion if you wanted somebody to go with you. All these asterisks combined, and the fact that it only is good for 2D screenings. You cannot see IMAX, you cannot see 3D. In AMC's case, you cannot see Prime. So here's the thing. I think I would really dig this service. Well, let me get into that in a second. Let me first find out, Schnepp, now you hear this whole thing about a Movie Pass thing. Right. You understand the little restrictions, stuff like that. Do you think it's a good deal, though?
Even with those restrictions, if I saw one movie every week, that would add up to like $45, at least here in LA. Yes. So it would kind of be worth it if I was actually going to do one movie a week. You really have to fall into that, we see movies a lot. So I think for myself, it would be worth it. But if you were one of those people, like when Netflix was originally just those discs and you'd have to put it in the mail, I was horrible at that. and they would just these discs would just sit around and be like, I just can't believe I've spent like 4 months and I've never even seen anything. That just didn't return the discs. So that could be the case with this. It's a monthly fee. You're locked in for a year. You go see one movie and then you get really busy and you don't do anything for you don't go see a movie for 3 months. Bam, you just spent like $90 on that one movie. So if you bought this pass, you would want to make sure that you're like, yo, Tuesday's my Tuesday movie night, or whatever. You try to do that. So, I mean, if that in theory it makes sense, it would be worth it in theory.
Right,
Mark,
yeah. I
what about
mean,
you?
if my handsome face and engaging Musk didn't get me into so many press screenings, I would definitely be a member of MoviePass. I've actually worked with MoviePass in the past. I'm not currently affiliated with them, but I have used MoviePass. And for what I wanted to do is more like what Schnepp said, which is where I want to see a couple movies a week. I want to see the new movies that are coming out. So I want to go see The Visit, The Perfect Guy, and Black Mass, right? I want to go see those movies Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I can do that. I don't have a problem. Sometimes I actually prefer going to see a movie by myself as opposed to with anybody else. So it's actually a nice excuse. It's
You don't like your guest periscoping in the theater while you're watching the movie?
Neither here nor there, but there is something to be said about having a car that can't fit a lot of people in it. It's nice. I'll meet you guys there, that kind of situation. What's cool about MoviePass to me is that you assume that like when you get passes for free from a movie theater chain, you always see like, oh, well, there's certain restrictions apply and you can't go see like this movie or this movie doesn't accept passes. But with MoviePass, I don't think that's the case at all. I think you can see any movie that is coming out, even if it's coming out like that weekend and it's a bigger movie.
Yeah,
So
no blackout
that's pretty
movies, no
cool.
blackout
Yeah.
dates. I think there are some people this would work for, as it is. Now, what I would like to see them remove the 1 year. Like I said, it's like a cell phone contract. I'd like to see them remove that. I would also like to see an option, even if it's for an additional fee, to be able to include another person when you're going. I would also really like them to remove the restriction of you can't see the same movie twice. Because I'm the type of guy that if I really like a movie, I want to go back and see it multiple times. Totally. Now, like Netflix, this would be a business model that's based on the idea of some people will use it a lot. But it's also based on the idea of knowing that a lot of people are going to buy it and not use it very much. Right. And it does create an interesting, economical problem too, because theater chains have to pay the studios when people go see the movies there. So how does the economics of that really work out? And that's probably why you can only see one movie once and all that kind of stuff. But here's what I would like to see. Here's my proposal. And you don't even have to do it with MoviePass. Maybe MoviePass can do this in general, or maybe like a theater chain standalone, like an AMC Theaters could do something like this. If you had something that was, say, like $45, now that's steep, but $45 a month, and it is a true see any movie you want that includes IMAX, that includes Prime, that includes 3D, and you can see the movie as many times as you want. Fine, still keep it to once a day. Once every 24 hours you can use it. I'm good with that rule. But you also have an option for, say, it's $45 for one. You have an option that for $80 a month, your pass is good for you and a guest. And you sign that. Right. Now that's $80 is steep, but you consider you and a guest, you go see 3 movies a month. Then it starts playing. Then you're somebody like us, you're going to see 5, 6, or 7 movies a month. That becomes really worth it. I would like to see just some little tweaking with something like this, to the point that I think, what tweaks do you think they would need to make this mass appeal, where a lot of people would say, yes, sign me up for that?
I think it's got to be the monthly thing, because I love the idea of paying $30 a month. I hate the idea of paying like $160 a year or whatever it is to go see that. My math is probably
$360 a year.
Just a little bit off there. I'm better at spelling than at math. Yeah, I mean that's what because I don't necessarily want to pay that much like right up front. I'm sure you can pay in installments or something like that. But again, like $30 a month to me is a steal when you're talking about how many movies that I see. I'll probably see 12 to 15 movies in a theater this month. Right. So that is a steal for $30.
Sinead, does something like this appeal to you? What is it that does appeal? What things would you like to see different to make it appeal to you?
I mean, I think that if I could honestly say I watched movies every single month of the year, it would appeal to me more. But that's just impossible. Like there are some movies or some movie months, or some months rather, that I watch like 4 movies. And then there's other months I watch like 1 movie that I'm really excited for. You know what I'm saying? So it's like spending $30 a month on 3 movies seems like a great idea, but spending $30 a month on 0 to 1 movies seems like, a waste.
Let me float this idea really quick though. Does it do anything if you're on a date with a girl or a guy? Does it do anything where you're going to see a movie and he takes out a movie pass instead of just paying? Is it the same thing like if you take a girl to a fancy place like the Outback and you
pull out a Groupon?
Yeah, it's not as cool, right?
No.
Or is it cooler? You're like, check this out.
I'm telling you right now, it's cooler.
It's like, check this out. If you're with me, movies are free.
I'm telling
all
you
the
right
time.
now, it is not cooler.
Bam.
Oh, it's cool.
Hang on. You got
you?
a lot of shopping to do later. Let's just talk about what's reality here. You pull out a card, you're like, slap a card down and be like, you're with me, it's always free. People be like, huh. I don't know. It's like, it's different. It's not like you're throwing money for a restaurant or something. It's like, hey, it's like, I'm part of this thing and I bought this thing. Movies are free all the time.
Okay, here's the true story.
But I agree with you. If you did the double person thing, that would be incredible. I would just limit it to 6 months instead of a year. Like make it a 6-month contract,
or 3 months at a time.
Yeah,
Maybe
like
more than
like
1
that.
month. So somebody's not just taking advantage of you for the like July 2017 when you're getting War of the Planet of the Apes and Spider-Man. Here's the thing. When I first moved to LA, before I met Anne, please understand that huge asterisk. This is before I met Anne. And my idea of coming to Los Angeles was I was going to date everybody here. There was a movie theater chain that knew who I was, and they gave me a little thing where I got to get into all the movies for free, right? And I dated a lot when I got here, and believe me, they were impressed when we got to go there. And there's nothing else impressive about me, but I could get them into a movie for free, and that carried some weight.
That's a little different, though. That's having a in or a connection at a movie theater is a little different because eventually they're gonna be like, "So how does that work?" And you'd be like, "Well, I spend $30 a month, and I can take anybody to a movie, and then I go online and I buy your ticket separately, and hopefully it's not sold out by then."
Is that kind of like seeing the guy's like great new Tesla car? You go, "How do you afford that?" Well, my dad makes payments. And yeah, maybe it takes away a little bit of the shine.
When you went on a date with these girls, was it like Goodfellas where they walk you in through the concessions instead, and you're just like, it's just one single shot? Like, don't worry, everybody knows Campea. He's walking in the back of the popcorn.
Through the kitchen.
Yeah. I kid you not, one of the theaters, I won't say which one of the theaters in town, they showed me where to park, and it was this exclusive staff elevator that took me right up into the back of the counter of the candy thing. So we'd come up through there, and then the manager would escort us out and into the theater.
Wow.
So it was like, it looked pretty good at the time.
A lot of action happened.
It was it was
elevator.
actually not that impressive, but it looked impressive. And that's really the story of today, folks. You don't need to be impressive. You just need to look impressive.
That's the moral.
That's the moral of the story. All right, folks, that'll do it for us for this installment of Collider Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, don't forget, lots of great films playing out at our friends over at AMC Theaters. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for all of your theater, showtime, and movie ticket information. And listen, if you are a fan of movie and television and entertainment news, you must bookmark Collider.com. As a matter of fact, we've got a contest running on Collider.com right now that will get you, if you're interested in Comic-Con in New York, get you airfare to Comic-Con, get you your hotel fees in Comic-Con, get you spending money in Comic-Con, get you 2 passes to the New York City Comic-Con. Head on over to Collider.com. You'll find the contest with all the details there. Go and enter it now. And most importantly, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Become a subscriber. It's absolutely free, and it'll keep you up to date on everything we're doing here at Collider Video. I want to thank the guys sitting at the table with me. First of all, sitting over here on my left, writer director, Mr. Patrick Stewart. Patrick, where can people find you online?
When I'm not sleeping, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jon Schnepp and at TDOSLWH. I will be at the Long Beach Comic-Con this weekend, so come on over to our table, get a Blu-ray of The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened. Be happy to meet y'all.
Over here, Mr. Mark Ellis. Mark, where can people find you?
And if you're on the East Coast, I'll be at the Syracuse Funny Bone all weekend, Friday through Sunday. We just added the Sunday show. I'll be headlining that, so go. It's fun. Online, 5150 Ellis.
He won't be at the movies with me and Schnepp. And over there, Miss Sinead DeFries. Sinead, where can people find you online?
Well, today I'm making up for shopping time lost, but I will be back online at Sinead DeFries on Twitter and Instagram and at thatsoshinead.com.
And you can find me on Facebook and on Twitter. Follow me at Jon Campea. And my new book is coming out. My new novel called The Pride. Yeah. You can head on over to Kickstarter right now. You can support the book and reserve your early copy as well. So just go over to Kickstarter.com and search for The Pride, and you'll be able to find it there. That'll do it for us, guys. Thanks so much for joining us for Collider Video. My name's Jon Campea, and until next time, bye-bye.
Cyanide.